I have lost entire afternoons to Excel, fixing date formats, fighting charts, rebuilding budget trackers by hand. Last week, I handed the whole job to Microsoft Copilot, and here's the twist. I ran it twice. Once with Claude Opus and once with ChatGPT. The same prompts, the same messy spreadsheet. One took 28 minutes but got everything spot on. The other took less than half the time but missed a few things. And I'd have been embarrassed to send that to a client. By the end of this video today, you'll know which one to pick for the work that you actually do, because the answer isn't the same for every job. Let's dive into the spreadsheet. Let's go. Here's something I prepared earlier. I've got the total project budget from the client team down here and their day rates down the side. I have what would equate to a raw report of Salesforce, a total cost for that week. We have a running total sum of the number of hours used. We are going to fire up Copilot here, which you can see down here in the bottom right. That'll open up a chat window, and up here you've got a little drop down here. So if I click on this, you can see we've got three options. Allow editing, which is what we're going to do today. We come up with a plan, or chat only. So you can ask it questions, you can ask it for advice, you can ask it help with formulas, but it's not going to change or amend anything in your actual document. So we're going to leave that at allow editing. Now, again, up here in the drop down, you can choose your models. You can leave it on auto, or you can choose between the two ChatGPT OpenAI models, and you can choose between the two Anthropic Claude models. So first off, we're going to select Opus 4.8. Now, first of all, before we can do anything, I need this sheet here I'm looking at tidied up. So first and foremost, we are going to start with just fixing the name column. So I want them all formatted, first name, last name. All right, so first off, it says ask me a couple of clarifying questions. Wants to double check exactly what I mean by the name format. So yes, that is what I want. I want first, last. And then it's asking about capitalization. So yes, fix inconsistent capitalization to the proper case. All right, there we go. So it has successfully fixed all of the names that were in the wrong format. We can see that it's highlighted on the one that it's done, and it's audited here for us and told us exactly which ones it has done and which one it has changed and what it did. So once you're happy with that change, you can click on done. If it's messed it up and broken your sheet completely, just hit the undo button here and it will change everything back to how it was before it started doing stuff. But I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit done, and we can see now that is all locked in. Right. All right, step two. Let's take this up a level a bit. So I asked it to fix one column in that one. Now I'm going to ask it to fix two. So I'm going to ask it to go down the job title column and make sure they're all consistent and they match. And then I'm going to ask it to go down the day rate column to make sure that all those numbers are formatted as currency. And there we are, back again. That was super quick. So both tasks are completed and verified. Here's what I did. So job titles, found the engineers and standardized them to the same name. And there's the formula it used. The day rates corrected to GBP pound. Most cells were already correct. 4 were stored as text and not numbers. That was the tripwire stuck in for it. So I'm glad it's found that. So it showed us here what it was before and then what it is afterwards. The only thing it hasn't done is matched the green color, but in the grand scheme of things, that makes absolutely no difference for what we're trying to achieve here. Final thing we need to check is this week column. And now this one is a bit messy. So we've got multiple date formats. So we've got a week commencing date. We've got just the start of a date. We've got another random start of a date. And then we've just got week 1, week 2. Let's see what it does with this. Okay, and it is back again. So it's done all of column D. It's standardized them in the date format that I've asked it to. It's told us what it's done. It's told us which ones it's changed. It's told us how it's inferred the week. Remember, some of them just said week 1, week 2, week 5. They didn't actually have any misformatted dates for it to work with. It was literally just a label. So it's figured out from that down exactly what those were as well. So that's awesome. And I can scoot down here and I can see that, yes, we have nice consistent dates formats all the way down to the bottom. So now we have a nice, cleanly standardized formatted table with all of our burn down data in. So next, 2 things we're going to do. Number 1. Just a simple box on the front page. So in the budget tracker over here, I want something down here that just basically tells me on the front page exactly how many hours we've used, how many left, and what percentage we've burned through. So let's start there. So on the project sheet, here we go. Kept it relatively vague. I've not given it huge amounts of direction. but I don't like to make it easy on these guys. I like to see the intelligence in the artificial intelligence. All right, away we go. And it is done. So that is exactly what I was looking for here. And again, tells me what it's done here. It's told me the formulas it's used. Fantastic. So opening budget was 450k as it's taken from here. It's summed up everything on the time tracker spreadsheet, done the math, and then it tells me now that I've used 81.4% of my budget. The final thing that I want this to do is create me a nice visual burn down dashboard. I want a burn down chart that's going to show me what I've done to date and forecast forward, so I can get a rough idea as to when I'm going to run out of this budget. Because as a PM, I need to know when that's going to happen, so I can either sleep easy knowing that we'll be done by then, or start planning my risks and mitigations if it looks like we're going to run over. So let's come back in here. I'm going to tell it to create a new sheet to start off with. Create a new sheet. On the sheet, I would like a visual representation of the budget burn down. It should show historic data to today and also forecast so that I can see when we are predicted to run out of budget. Let's do this. Here we are. So my budget burn down and forecast. The chart up here in the top left that shows my total budget. Average week, it's giving me the average weekly burn and today's date. In red, it's giving me when it thinks my budget is going to be exhausted. And it's extended the table to that point. So I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that weeks left. And on my chart down here, the blue line is my spend. The green line is my budget. So I've got my dates on the bottom. I've got my budget up the side. Got you. So my spend goes up and obviously my budget comes down. And then we can see here the orange dotted line part of it is the forecast. So here's today in terms of the spread, in terms of the sheet here. And then the orange is the forecast. So I can see here around this point is when I'm going to hit that and run out of budget. All very good and exactly what we looked for. But this is going to go in front of a client. Let's jazz it up a little bit. So I'm saying I'm going to be sending this to a client. Let's refresh the visuals to make it more polished and more professional. Let's see what it does. And this is where at this point, if you've got specific company branding, you can put those instructions in here and it will then brandify your chart. It says finish that initial polish, and bear in mind that was an incredibly vague and loose brief to do that, so I'm not expecting wonders. It would be much better if you just fed it your brand guide or brand stylings, as I say. Oh, here we go, look, so we can see it's done here. It's jazzed it up a bit, it's formatted it just that little bit more professionally, and equally with the chart down here as well, added a bit more style into it. So yeah, so it's jazzed it up just a little bit for me. All in all, reasonably successful, I would say. It's done everything that I wanted it to do, and this has taken, the uncut recording of this is, if I look down now, 28 minutes from start to finish. I am going to run the exact same prompts again, and I'm going to use OpenAI ChatGPT 5.5, and I will be back in about 5 seconds and I will show you what that has done as well. First task complete. It's done all the names for me, and I have to say it did it in a absolute fraction of the time that Claude did. Claude took a while and took about, I think it was 6 or 7 steps. This has done it in 1 step, and it did it in about 7 seconds of real time. So test number 1 passed. ChatGPT wins that one. Let's move on to the next. Again, super quick it's done that. Let's have a look. It's done all the job titles correctly for me. Perfect, nice. It's told me it's format of the day, right? But if I have a look at C20, it says missed 1. It's done it super fast, but it's missed 2. So whilst it has speed, accuracy not so good here. So there you go. So in about 2 seconds, it has found those couple of errors and it has reformatted them all. And it's just tidied that up nicely for me as well. So speed, yes. Accuracy, not so good with ChatGPT 5.5 on this particular one. Now let's feed it the messy date prompt and see how it handles that. Awesome. So it's done that super fast again, and it has nailed that from start to finish, top to bottom. Fantastic. Definitely a win for ChatGPT in that one. However, given the fact that I was burned on the last one, I would have to spend some extra time just going through this and just double and triple checking to make sure it has got that accuracy right. Moving on, the simple dashboard chart that I want on the home page. Let's see how it handles that. There we go. We are done. It's given me slightly less in terms of information. It's given me very specifically exactly what I've asked for. If you remember, Claude also gave me the monetary value in what I've used and the starting budget as reference as well. So it gave me a little bit more information, but This, again, it was super fast. It was much quicker than Claude. And it has given me exactly what I've asked for and nothing else. So as a PM, I appreciate the lack of scope creep. Finally, let's see how ChatGPT handles the dashboard request. All right, so it tells me it is complete. At a glance, dashboard at the top here, which gives me the budgetary information. It's given me the breakdown by week, the actual spend, total budget down there. It's given me a predicted budget run out week. So it's given me all the information that Claude did. Oh, there's my chart. I was worried for a second there that it wasn't going to give me my chart. So it's put the chart to the side. So I guess slightly less counterintuitive where Claude put it. It makes more sense that it would sit just below the table there. But nevertheless, it is done. Formatting slightly not quite as good as Claude's one, but everything is there. It doesn't differentiate between historic spend and future forecast like Claude does. So I've got to give Claude that one. It definitely did a slightly better job there. And then finally, I'm going to ask it to do the cleanup and polish just to see how that pans out. Let's zoom in here. I've got two charts now. I've lost my header for the report, but such is life. All right, so it's polished this up a bit. It's actually, I think, made the chart worse. I much prefer the one that we had before with like the cross with the budget spend and the budget left going down, and you could easily see the crossover point. It split it up for some reason, and it's given me an actual weekly spend and then a forecast weekly spend. I'm not mad about this. It's done what I've asked. Final verdict for me on comparing the two, and I'll start with this. Uncut and unedited run through doing all of this with Claude took just shy of half an hour. Using the exact same prompts and going through the exact same steps with ChatGPT took 11.5 minutes. If you're after just some quick and dirty numbers and you just want to get some stuff done and knocked out quickly, then go with ChatGPT. Be aware that you're not going to get the polish and you need to keep an eye out for some of those accuracy issues. But if you're happy to swallow that risk, if I spend 10 minutes just double checking the data and it's fine, then it's still less time than Claude took. But that's the compromise. You can use Claude and it will take a bit longer, but it's going to be more polished and, from my experience here, more accurate. So if you found this useful, pop down there and hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any more videos helping you make the most effective use of them, both at home in your family life and also at work as well. Thanks for watching. Stay peachy.